would you? Be prepared to have chemicals put in your tap water to help fight tooth decay. That is the prospect facing people who live in areas where bad dental health is common. The government wants extra fluoride to be put into supplies.
Yes, there'll have to be consultations before it could happen, and there are bound to be some concerns about leaving people no choice about whether they consume the substance or not. Manchester is one of the places earmarked for the change, and we asked people there what they thought about it.
I think it's probably a good thing because, I mean, years ago we used to have fluoride treatment for our children when they were younger. You used to go and be able to have it at the dentist. I don't know whether they still do that now, but I think it helped, obviously, with the decay, you know.
For some things it's good, for some things it's not so good. And fair enough for children's teeth, but give you an option. Have it in toothpaste.
Not bothered at all. If it's good for people to drink, then especially for kids as well, then obviously it should be in the water for them.
There's a very strong case for it, actually fluoridation in water, and the results are definite, positive, that it reduces teeth decay.
So the views from some people in Manchester. Well, Dr. Rosemary is here with us, and the author and broadcaster Janey Lee Grace. Good morning to you both.
Hello.
Well, you are vehemently anti, aren't you, Janey Lee?
I am, yeah. I really do think this is like taking a sledgehammer to crack a nut, in truth. I think there's no doubt that fluoride can help in the battle against tooth decay. That's a given. But to mass medicate, I think, is totally and completely wrong and outrageous and totally unnecessary. Fluoride is available in other ways, as we all know. It's available in toothpaste. It's available in some areas anyway, naturally occurring in the water. It's available in foodstuffs, in the tea that we drink. There are lots of ways, in fluoride drops, and there are lots of ways, I think, of addressing the issue of tooth decay without mass medicating. One very good suggestion is increase the availability of dental health for absolutely everybody, make it completely free, make it accessible.
Well, that's something we were talking about earlier, Rosemary, and the problem is there are so many people who can't get hold of an NHS dentist at the moment that one person's suggesting maybe this is a cheap way of making sure people's teeth are better to mass medicate rather than employ more NHS dentists.
There is a real problem with the fact that it's so uneven. The amount of fluoride in the water is so variable across the country. People who live around Hartlepool and in some areas of Essex have naturally got enough fluoride in the water. About 10% of water companies are adding fluoride to the water. But the main problem is that you ask somebody, have you got fluoride in your local water supply? And they just won't know. Now, in my opinion, we should be putting fluoride in the water because there is a percentage of young children who are not having their teeth looked after. And even if they had availability of dentists, sadly, they wouldn't be going to dentists. My sister is a dentist and she sees children as young as 6 who've got their whole mouths are full of rotten teeth. They have to have the whole lot removed and then they can't eat. And we know that fluoride is safe. There's no long-term harm for it as long as you only have the right amount. And it can reduce caries by 40 to 60%.
So Janey, you talk about mass medication, but if there's no firm evidence that in the doses it's given that it does you any real harm, what's the problem?
I don't think that you can absolutely blanketly say it does you no harm. That's
We've been talking about it for 40 years. I mean, we must know by now if there's a problem or not.
No, I think there are lots of studies that show that there have been problems with long-term use of fluoride or with overuse of fluoride. For starters, there's dental fluorosis, I think the expression is, where there's staining of the teeth. I know someone personally who has that from being given too many fluoride drops. Now, how do we know whether people are going to have it in their water? Then they might, with children, they often swallow toothpaste. Then they perhaps have fluoride drops as well if they've got a well-meaning parent. There may be some people who overdo it. And also we've got to think about animals. It inhibits enzymes. There have been studies on horses that have shown the horses have become incredibly ill from drinking fluoridated water. So, there can be issues. And I think it's nonsense to say, well, let's give it to those who need it. And for everybody who doesn't need it, well, let them have it anyway, because it might not do them any harm. But it might. And in my opinion, it absolutely will.
I just want to read out some of the texts because they've come in the same minute, these texts. My dentist 46 years ago told me to take fluoride tablet every week during my pregnancy. I have 4 children. Each time they took fluoride and they have no fillings. I rest my case. Yet another says my child had fluoride damage to her teeth. Fluoride caused patches to the enamel. She had to have veneers. Ellie from North London says the same. My teeth and those of my friends from the village where I grew up are severely discoloured because of adding fluoride to the water. It is an incredibly polarised debate, Rosemary. And the problem is, I suppose, if you do put fluoride into everybody's water, there will be lots of people who say we just don't want it.
Well, I think there needs to be some standardisation, and what people shouldn't be doing is going and giving their children fluoride drops or taking fluoride drops without checking checking first how much fluoride they've already got naturally in their water, because it's very variable across the country. I mean, to me, there is a strong case for putting fluoride in everywhere and then saying, right, there is fluoride in the water, therefore you don't need to take extra fluoride drops. Make sure your children don't swallow their toothpaste and only use a pea-sized blob. Then everybody knows what they need to do, and we are protecting those children who sadly are not having their teeth looked after properly by their parents, and they are out there.
Lots of them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I completely agree. I think there's many, many other ways of dealing with that. You know, I said rather facetiously earlier, ban fizzy drinks, but I don't think it's any more a daft idea than putting fluoride in absolutely everybody's water. I think
slightly
look at
less
the diet.
practical, that's the thing.
Well, maybe, but look at the diet issues first. You have to address the bigger picture. You need to look at the holistic picture, and making everyone, animals, even when you wash your car, where everyone has to be attacked by fluoride. Look at the environmental issues. It's yet another chemical that we absolutely do not need to be mass medicated with.
Quick text message just come in. Fluoride should be in the fizzy drinks. Don't even ban
that
them,
work?
put them in the fizzy drinks.
The last thing we want to do is encourage people saying, oh, they're not that bad for you.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, thanks. Can you imagine trying to get that law passed one or two carbonated beverage companies?
I don't think it's going to work somehow.
Thank you both very much.
Thank you. Thanks very much.